Hello and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Abel Garcia.
And I'm Trisha Keene. On August 29, 2005, Katrina made landfall in Louisiana as a Category 3 hurricane. And according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, nearly 1,400 people were killed in the storm.
Thousands of Louisianans were also stranded in New Orleans, which flooded after levees broke. With local resources overwhelmed, a call for help was issued. Reporter Guy Tannenbaum has more on the Nevadans who jumped in to help.
Nevada Task Force 1 always answers the call of duty, heading to our country's worst disasters to help out where they're needed most, like this past July when they went to Texas to help out with floods there. 20 years ago was no different, and its impacts are still being felt today.
It was the biggest deployment of any of our lives, and that included even 9/11.
Before he became Clark County Fire Chief, John Steinbeck was a captain and a member of Task Force 1 deployed to the devastation in the Gulf Coast caused by Hurricane Katrina.
All that was left were the people that needed to be rescued and first responders in the city. It really felt post-apocalyptic.
Never seen that many houses in one area or that much water.
These days, Kenyon Levitt is Task Force 1's program manager, but 20 years ago, Hurricane Katrina was his first deployment.
I remember driving down to our area the first day and looking through those streets and neighborhoods and just water everywhere and just thinking, where did it come from and where's it going to go?
And you're lifting up power lines to drive your boat underneath. You're trying not to hit old fences and cars as you're going through on these boats. And unfortunately, we would open up the roof and we would find people that died there, just waiting up there, trying to get out of the high waters. But we also did find some people alive.
Working off of boats, a first for Task Force 1 at the time.
When we came back, we started to really focus on how we would go ahead and do that the next time. We bought boats, we started doing more lake-based rescues and boat-based rescue operations because we were no longer just a local resource.
The 20-day-long deployment left indelible marks on both of their careers.
To always understand that Mother Nature can override all of your best plans.
Lessons that they pass on to Task Force 1 members today.
As our guys go out the door, one of the last things I tell them is we're going to do whatever they ask us to do. That's what we're there for, is to help people out.
I'm proud to have gone and grateful that I had the opportunity.
20 years later, Steinbeck tells me one of their biggest takeaways from their deployment to Katrina was the importance of keeping you and your family prepared in case of an emergency. Reporting in North Las Vegas, I'm Guy Tannenbaum.
2 days after the storm, members of the Nevada National Guard were also in New Orleans. Some guardsmen evaluated patients at the airport, while others helped evacuate people from the convention center.
We had aircraft coming in, helicopters, dozens of helicopters in the air, and they were just waiting for somebody to coordinate to land them. So our folks started coordinating the landing operations and then getting the folks on the helicopters. And that took place for about 3 days straight before everybody was out of there. It was pretty amazing.
The Nevada National Guard was in New Orleans for about 2 weeks before coming home. Many New Orleans first responders were grateful for help in the Crescent City.
And in the weeks that followed, Las Vegas opened its doors, welcoming hundreds of first responders who traveled to the valley looking for a sense of normalcy, a warm meal, and a place to lay their head. Reporter Shakira Hawkins has more.
We had prepared for hurricanes before, but not, this one was a little bit scary.
The storm has passed, but 20 years later, the memories remain.
I actually have the radio award here in Katrina with me right here today at this old relic right here.
Paramedics Christopher Keller and Keely Williams Johnson were on the front lines in New Orleans. While they prepare for the pending storm, they remember feeling this one could be different.
I had some elderly neighbors, and they were sitting out on their porches. They hadn't evacuated. And I remember thinking to myself that this may be the last time that I ever see them. Because in the back of my head, I knew that it was really serious.
With only 5 days worth of clothes and food, New Orleans first responders hunkered down to weather the storm. High winds damaged many structures, while levee failures led to catastrophic flooding.
So it was very difficult being in a position of someone who is to provide help, for our community, into a position where, we couldn't get around, everything was flooded.
We had nowhere to bring people. We couldn't communicate with anybody. We couldn't bring them into the building where we were because we didn't have enough supplies for people. We had barely enough supplies for ourselves.
And as days passed, other agencies stepped in to provide support.
U.S.
U.S. Army, yell if you need some help.
They came in from all across the country, and they not only came in to help us run calls and try and take care of the city, they also took care of us.
With morale low and first responders working round the clock for nearly 3 weeks, then New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin called on mayors from cities across the country to provide some relief to his city's exhausted emergency workers. Former Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman said our Valley answered that call, providing a week-long all-expense-paid trip to first responders.
Because when one place is in trouble, all places are in trouble, and Vegas has a big heart. We're a very empathetic group of people. If somebody has a problem, we don't ignore them, we don't shoo them away. We welcome them in order to try to solve their problem and put their minds to ease.
Christopher and Keely say they were thankful to be able to come to Las Vegas, giving them a chance to process what they've been through, de-stress, and get ready to continue helping people when they return home.
We were treated like royalty. Like the Red Cross gave us vouchers to get clothing because we had nothing. We had basically the clothes on our backs. I lost everything in the storm.
The basic essentials of air conditioning, hot water and hot showers, hot food, things like that were a nice, comfortable bed to sleep in. All those things that we got when we got to Vegas were just refreshing. It allowed us to kind of reset our focus.
Former Clark County Fire Chief John Steinbeck was the captain at the time. He says first responders have a special relationship and stepped in to help each other as well as the community.
They come out here, we're going to show them a good time here in Las Vegas, give them what they need, as far as rest, as far as assurement, right, and camaraderie, and just give them a break from what they just went through.
When Christopher and Keely returned to New Orleans, a lot of the water was gone, and for the first time saw the full scope of the damage.
It was almost like you were in a movie, like it wasn't real. It was like being in like a Mad Max scene or something out in the desert, and where everything's just dusty and dirty.
20 years later, the pair still works for New Orleans Emergency Medical Services, helping people in the city they love. Looking back, they say they're happy to share their stories and have a message for the people of Las Vegas.
We were very fortunate and we were very thankful and grateful for the community in Las Vegas for opening up their arms to, because we were evacuees then, right? Because almost everybody that we worked with lost all of their, possessions because their homes were flooded.
People have never heard our stories. No one's ever asked us our story. So it's nice to be able to tell people and kind of get it off your chest.
Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Shakira Hawkins.
Well, what would you do if you went on vacation and lost everything back at home?
Coming up, I'll introduce you to a New Orleans man who found a new home right here in Las Vegas.
Welcome back. Well, after Hurricane Katrina, many people moved right here to the Las Vegas Valley.
I spoke to one man who says what was originally meant to be a short vacation turned into the beginning of a brand new life. The loud roars of Hurricane Katrina still echo in Darren Hahn's memory.
It's like a lake around. There were people literally up on the freeways.
Born and raised in New Orleans, he spent his childhood walking through the French Quarter, eating with family, and embracing the city's culture.
If it gets bad, you gotta holler at somebody.
But 20 years ago, the life he knew was washed away. Just explain to me how you were impacted by Hurricane Katrina.
It was crazy. I'm from New Orleans originally, born and raised, spent my entire life, high school, college, elementary school, and I decided 1 week before Hurricane Katrina, just coincidentally, to take a 1 week vacation in Las Vegas because I loved it here. I loved the vacation here.
From his hotel room at the Wynn, Hahn tells me he could only watch in horror.
I'm getting calls from friends and family saying, the hurricane's coming to New Orleans, it's going to wipe us out. And of course, on Monday, the whole entire city was submerged underwater.
Phone lines collapsed, families trapped, the powerful currents ripped homes from foundations.
It was just picture the floor of the Superdome, like a Legion field, you had the football field, and there was just cots and cots and cots of people. Same thing for the convention center. They had people out there, and kind of no one really didn't didn't know what to do. And the architecture is really neat because it's like a kind of French/Spanish.
For Han, the devastation was personal. He tells me his family's homes were destroyed, his business gone, and even worse, his cousin didn't make it out.
Stayed at home, the water rose, they went up to their attic, and it kept on basically going, and he ended up having a seizure, and I think he died.
He tells me the heartbreak of watching from 1,500 miles away was unbearable.
I basically lost everything other than what was, what I brought out to Vegas in my 2 suitcases.
Holy smoke. So you lost it all?
Yeah,
which is
everything.
well over...
I lost my business, which was a great business. It was a mortgage company.
Have you gone back to where your home was in New Orleans?
It was crazy. So I actually went back in April of 06, so almost 8 months later. And like my mother's home, for instance, was under 10 feet of water, submerged for months, right? It looked like a bomb went off in the house.
Darren lived out of a hotel for months, eventually finding work and planting roots right here in Las Vegas.
But looking back on it, I couldn't ask for anything better. I love Vegas. The people are great. It's a great setting.
20 years later, New Orleans continues to rebuild, but Han says it will never be the same.
It won't. It was the metro area population. It was around 1 million before Hurricane Katrina.
That's incredible.
Now it's probably half of that.
It's
the Mississippi River.
Wow. Through tragedy, he found resilience. And though New Orleans will always be home, Las Vegas gave him a second chance at life.
I thank everyone from Las Vegas that volunteered and helped, to make, my life and other refugees from New Orleans easier. Sometimes when things are bleak and not good, that is always, a little cliche, the sun will come out tomorrow. And it did.
20 years ago, Ingrid Leal and her 7-month-old daughter lived with their family in Kenner, Louisiana, about 12 miles from downtown New Orleans. She says she was already planning to move to Las Vegas, but Hurricane Katrina accelerated her plans.
Her grandmother turned around, looked at me and said, well, there's no need for you to go back home, so you're leaving to Las Vegas. Booked a plane ticket for us, and we've been here since the day after Katrina.
Ingrid says she has never left Las Vegas since the day she moved here. That's because she says the valley feels like home.
Las Vegas locals donated thousands of dollars of supplies to Katrina relief efforts. That includes food, blankets, and kennels for pets.
That's right. We raised a lot of money here at Channel 13, and reporter Anissa Bohannon introduces us to one woman who was so inspired by her trip that she created a new animal organization here in the valley.
It's hard to forget the images of major storm damage and human suffering that were broadcast across the country after Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast. Images that moved Stacey Alonso.
I think, like so many others, you're just watching this on TV and seeing pets on rooftops and children crying, and you thought, this can't be acceptable.
While Louisiana is more than 1,700 miles from her home in Las Vegas, Stacey wanted to do something to help and started looking for organizations in need. She found Noah's Wish, a group that rescues and cares for animals following disasters.
So when we found that organization and they gave us a supply list, it became real and put us on the path to make it into a community campaign for Station Casinos.
Locals answered the call for help. Stacey says her coworkers at Station Casino filled up 4 Penske trucks with pet food, kennels, and blankets. The team that drove the donations to Slidell, Louisiana, was able to make even more purchases thanks to all the support coming from our community.
We actually had to stop along the way to get more supplies with the cash because we wiped out PetSmart and things like that.
Stacey says the team followed the National Guard into the area and set up shop next to their operations, offering support as the Guard brought in animals that were rescued from the floodwaters.
We saw so many pets that were covered in nasty water and needed to really be cleaned, and then went through a lot of Pedialyte because they were dehydrated.
In addition to caring for pets pulled from the water, Stacey says they also focused on trying to reunite the animals with their owners.
People were coming every single day to check to see if their pet was there, or if their pet was there but they were living in a motel, or unfortunately some of them were like living in tents. They came by every day to visit with their pet, and they were just filled with gratitude that their pet was safe.
And when those reunions did happen,
oh my gosh, you're just covered in goosebumps.
Stacy says the makeshift animal shelter was in operation for months after the storm. It also inspired her to create Noah's Animal House, which is the first animal shelter built on the campus of a domestic violence shelter. Today, that facility still sits next to the Shade Tree Shelter here in Las Vegas. Stacy says Hurricane Katrina showed her how important pets are and that she's now living out her life's purpose.
When you're a part of a disaster like that, you see the power that pets bring to the healing with their families. Pets are family. They deserve to be with their family in crisis, and they need them by their side to heal.
Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Anissa Bohannon.
Noah's Animal House has taken care of more than 1,900 pets since it opened. Due to its success, a second campus is open in Reno in partnership with the Domestic Violence Resource Center.
Well, notes in the key of life. Coming up, we will introduce you to a jazz musician who brings New Orleans soul to the Las Vegas stage. Stay with us.
Welcome back. According to musician Ferdinand Jelly Roll Morton, New Orleans is the cradle of jazz. Music has been one way the city has healed following Hurricane Katrina.
That's right, and anchor Justin Hinton introduces us to a trumpet player who remembers his home on the bayou through the songs he plays on the Las Vegas stage.
The music lives inside of Sean Hunter. Eyes closed, heart open.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't the Vegas Lights that originally called his name. It was the French Quarter, down in the Big Easy.
I'm assuming you still have a lot of love for New Orleans.
Oh, yes, definitely. You know, I love the food, ate that crawfish all the time, beignets. Now my accent coming out.
His accent may not be as strong as it used to be. But the love for his hometown never fades. The soul, always in the background, even when the pulse of something more powerful swelled and tried to wash it all away.
I don't think I really completely understand it because around that time, these cool shoes called Heelys came out.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. And I was just 9 years old, rolling through the airport, and like I was seeing people laying on cots that's by the gates and everything, people laying on the floor. And my dad said I was able to cheer him up just rolling through there and like just laughing, having my big smile on. The only thing I really do remember that was very hard was taking a shower and like trying to clean up. I remember my dad was, the lights was cut off, there was no power, and we was in the janitor closet, and he had to splash water on me to wipe me down and everything because the water was out, power was out, and eating Vienna sausages and stuff like that.
So 20 years later, as you reflect on that time, what goes through your mind?
Oh man, just I'd say definitely some sadness and a lot of happiness because without Katrina, I probably wouldn't even be the musician I am today.
You see, it wasn't until after Katrina, when he moved to Maryland, that he picked up the trumpet.
I miss New Orleans and I wanted to do something that reminded me mainly of the city. And I was like, well, I seen a Louis Armstrong statue every day going to school when I was little, so let me play trumpet.
A year later, he went back to New Orleans and his talent grew, eventually joining one of the city's most famous youth bands, St. Augustine's Marching 100.
We had summer band camp, one of the most brutal camps I've ever been through because you're out in the sun, in the humidity, and you're doing push-ups on the pavement, you marching, you have to keep your leg up high like this while playing.
A couple years later, he was off to Las Vegas to live with his mom.
And I took my exam May 18th, 2012, and then I had to, as soon as I got out, my dad picked me up from St. Aug, took me straight to the airport, got me on a flight to Vegas. The next day, I had to audition for LVA at 8 a.m.
For 13 years, this has been home. And while his location and dreams may have changed, his passion for music has not. Now it's Washington and Withers instead of Bolden and Bechet, slot machines and showgirls instead of beads and beignets. But in his world, the two coexist.
Look, New Orleans and Vegas, they like cousins. Both 24-hour cities, both have party vibes.
The music, the thing that holds it all together.
Words can't really describe it. It's it's a feeling, you know.
A feeling born and raised in New Orleans, cultivated in Maryland, and sustained in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
In the entertainment capital of the world, I'm Justin Hinton.
Forward, bring it on down to the rail, put your right foot forward.
So incredible to see how people are still healing from this. We know it was truly a devastating situation, but they've really grown so much from this disaster.
I will never forget it. And really, the Las Vegas Valley stepped up.
Absolutely. Well, you can see all of these stories and more on our website at ktnv.com.
That's right. Thank you for joining us and have a great night.